Hello everyone and welcome to the next session of Core Java. In continuation with the discussion of strings, in this session we will be discussing about immutability of the strings. First of all, let's remember that strings are immutable. Means string objects in Java are immutable. What is the meaning of immutability? Immutability means an entity which cannot be modified or which cannot be changed. Once a string object is created, its data, that means the contents or the state, that is again a content, will never be changed. However, whenever we will try to modify existing string, always a new string object will be created. This is what happens whenever we are working with strings. Any modification operation in string will result into a new string object creation. However, the existing data, the original data will never get modified. How this is possible or how this is achieved? Internally, the string is stored in the form of character array. This is what we have already discussed. Now, are strings mutable? Can we add any element in the string or any type of array at runtime? Can we increase length of existing array at runtime? The answer to this question is no. That means arrays cannot be modified. Now, as arrays cannot be modified and string internally being stored in the form of a character array, strings are also immutable. And whenever we make any change in a string, the entirely new string is created and your original data is always untouched. This is how strings are immutable. Now let's look at this particular example. So say for example, I have declared one variable s, which is of type string, and it holds the value as Sachin. So whenever this variable is declared, one reference s will be created. The value Sachin will be stored in the string constant pool. What is string constant pool and everything we are going to discuss in detail. Here we are going to discuss the immutability. So whenever any object is created, string object is created, a reference is created and it is pointing to the object in the heap area. Now we are going to specify or we are going to perform the operation which is concat. So existing data concatenated with the new data. So will it concatenate the existing data? No. The concatenate operation will be performed and a new string will be returned which will hold that concatenated data. So your original data S remains as it is. So every time in string, whenever you are performing any sort of operation, the changes will not be reflected in your original data. However, a new object will be created where this data will be stored. That's why strings are immutable. Now, obviously, the question comes in mind that why strings are immutable? What is the meaning of immutability? We have discussed about it. But why strings are immutable? Because Java uses the concept of string literal. In string literal, what happens whenever a new variable is created in the form of string variable? So first it is checked if that value is already available. If it is available, then the new reference of string points at the same location. So we can have multiple string references referring to the same string object. So say for example, there are multiple references which are referring to same object. And if any one of that particular reference variable has changed the value of the object. So what will happen? This change will reflect into remaining data members as well, because there are multiple reference referring to same object. So if one reference is modifying that particular object, that changed object will be reflected for other references as well. And the data will be different, which is not acceptable. That's why the string objects are always immutable. Now, along with this, many times where the strings are used is for accepting data from the user. Say for example, you are doing some online purchase, right? So at the time of billing, you need to provide some payment details as your credit card number or debit card number, its PIN or CVV number, right? So this data is sensitive data. This data is always available in the form of string. Now, if strings are mutable, anyone can modify this particular data. However, this data, being pretty sensitive, must not be modified, right? So for that reason, also strings are kept as immutable. So I guess now you have understood what is immutability and how it is present in strings. Thank you.